Welcome in, Tuesday edition, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you this morning. We will talk about Lane Kiffin's media op yesterday that, in some subtle ways, not so subtle ways, it was more interesting than normal, so we will discuss that. Probably some NFL talk, already some games being moved. It looked like South Carolina going earlier in the week because of the hurricane bearing down on the East Coast. So plenty of news here this morning on a show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember that they're still giving away official Ole Miss game day football jerseys. They'll give away another one this weekend. All you have to do is stop in, again, the Blue Sky location there on Highway 6. Every individual purchase gives you another chance to sign up for one of those 7 jerseys they are giving away this season. So as many purchases you like to make, that's how many entries you can get into the drawing, the contest, whatever you want to call it. Also, while you're in there, take advantage of the lunch specials. I think today's tater tot casserole. You can get that with any size fountain drink, bread, and more there at the Oxford Exxon and coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We're still sponsored by Northeast Spark.
Yeah.
Northeast Spark, after you listen to this, you should comp me. Literally, you should comp me. I should not ever have to pay for the service again after what I'm about to say. Thank God we have 2 internet providers at my house. Thank God. Because Northeast Spark is the only one that is consistent.
You struggling with the other one?
It's great. It is fantastic. We try to put, because we're live streaming, everything else in the house on other stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Max South, you suck. It's constant. You go out all the freaking time. You're horrible.
Our only Spark issue was when someone else cut their cord a couple months ago.
So Northeast Spark, you're awesome. If you live anywhere near the Oxford area, you should use Northeast Spark. Northeast Spark, you really should reach out to me and comp me, because I shouldn't. I mean, I'm just telling it the way it is right now. I have no idea whether AT&T works. It didn't used to. Maybe it does now. I don't know. But Max South, you suck. What am I doing, Clark Ford?
You are, yes.
Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662.
Cars, po' boys, that kind of thing.
257-1900. Oh, yeah, I've got one of those. You're going to love this in a minute. 662-257-1900 is Clark Ford. Ask for my friend Corey. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You just get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guests join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. This Friday, Rafters presents Barstool Sports Sleep When You're Dead with Brianna Chicken Fry. The party starts at 8 p.m. with Rafters' own DJ Drum, then turns all the way up with DJ Vinny Vibe. Vinny Vibe is one of the most charismatic and talented DJs, producers in the U.S. He's best known for his dance pop anthem 7 C's and Dirty Little Secret Remax. Vinny holds multiple residences at the top nightclubs in the country. When not performing, Vinny showcases his skills with his weekly radio show, Good Vibes Radio, on Sirius XM's Pitbull's Globalization Channel 13. Brianna Chicken Fry will be there doing her thing too. VIP tickets have already sold out, but general admission will be available at the door. There will be a pop-up shop with merch at Rafters from 4 to 6, so come join for the biggest party in Oxford, the Barstool Sports Sleep When You're Dead tour.
I'm really impressed that you just knew that off the top of your head without having to read anything.
Yep.
That was very impressive.
Yep.
Already had it marked on the calendar, ready to go.
Yep. Brianna Chicken Fry, baby. She's on her way.
Couple different news things here. The game Saturday is sold out. That dovetails into a conversation we'll have in a minute. It is on so sold out on Saturday. Ole Miss just put that out 6 minutes ago, and then South Carolina's game against South Carolina State. It looks like it is going to be, per Ben Portnoy, moved from Saturday to Thursday due to again weather up the seaboard. Looks like at least 2.5 million people out of Florida already told to evacuate this morning for what is bearing down there on the East Coast. A little surprised. I mean, whatever. We're moving on this in 5 seconds. A little surprised they picked Clemson for that reason. I don't know how my geography is not great, so I don't know how far inland that is. But just in general, people traveling and getting out and different things, that surprises me.
Clemson's pretty far inland. It's basically
Georgia. I mean,
it's basically Greenville.
Yeah. But I don't know. I wondered if that would play a role, but again, apparently not. What?
I'm laughing at a thing in the stream.
Well, we had the deal. Speaking of Max, we used to, back when we did make fun of them all the time, we just thought it was a drug front. We thought that Max South was simple. When it was the old thing, it wasn't Max South, it was something else. What was their name before that? Metrocast. We thought that it was simply a Walter White type operation that was funneling.
I'm going to be disappointed if I don't hear from Northeast Spark by the end of the day.
Okay.
Honestly. I mean, because listen, Max South is good for everything except reliable internet.
What else do they do?
That's it.
Okay. If you had a landline, they might knock it out of the park. When'd you get rid of you had a landline longer than most people, didn't you?
Yeah, it's been gone for a while.
Well, yeah, I know that.
I don't know when. I can't remember.
I don't remember your number, but you had one longer than.
I remember the number.
Do you really?
Yes, 662-238-7762. Okay. But I'm really good about remembering phone numbers.
Do you use any device for that? And like a mental device? Like, because when I was a kid, I would do jersey numbers.
Oh.
I would know that somebody's phone number was like David Justice, Fred McGriff. Like I would do.
I still remember people's numbers from when I was a kid.
You know what's funny about that is I can do that, and I'm the same way. I can tell you tons of numbers from up to whatever age until iPhones and phones became so prevalent that I couldn't tell you half the numbers of the people I call anymore.
Right.
Like I couldn't tell you Jeffrey's phone number.
Like I have to really think hard about like what Campbell's number is, Caroline's number, Carson's number. Yeah, because it's just programmed in my phone as Campbell, Caroline, Carson.
Yeah, I know some numbers, but it's not many at all.
No, I don't know yours.
Do you not?
If someone said tell me his phone number, I don't know.
You'd have to look it up.
I just tell Siri to call you.
Yours is really easy to remember, so I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
But it's 662.
Yeah, this podcast will never be brought to you by Max South.
But one time we went really hard on Max South. They actually came out and fixed it within like an hour. They were.
Well, I mean, this has been like every day.
It has. Yeah.
I have to completely reset the modem every day. That's, and the bill is $100 and something a month. So give me a break. People get mad at us when Rivals goes down for a minute. It's the same price it's been since the Madison administration. So no, I don't want to hear it.
Okay. A couple things yesterday. We'll start with Lane. We'll get again. We always think we're getting the NFL. We probably will today, but if it's tomorrow, it'll be all right.
Did you watch the Manning cast last night?
I actually did not watch much of it, and I saw people be more frustrated with it than usual.
It was not
yesterday.
Yesterday was the first one where I watched it and I flipped over to the other broadcast. First time.
And you actually flipped to the other one.
I did. Well, and it wasn't just Tracy Morgan, who I think was drunk and was just kind of screaming, and it wasn't funny. Jimmy Johnson was okay. Eli was so ingrained in the Giants part of it that he wasn't as good as he usually is.
Oh, you think he was too focused?
A little bit. It wasn't as good this time. And it wasn't a very good game.
Which affects
that.
Things.
It impacts it, yeah. The game was sort of...
It was close.
It was close, but it was kind of slow. But Tracy Morgan was bad.
Well, that's the problem with that show, is that I understand why they do it and why they have 4 of them. But even mediocre guests bog the show down.
Yes. Well, because they had Pat McAfee, and he was good.
Pat's good.
He was good. Jimmy Johnson was fine. And then Morgan was a show killer. Like someone in the booth should have said, "Get him out. Let's get away."
Why wouldn't you just cut it?
I don't know. I guess they were afraid of what it would look like. They needed to cut from him, though. Someone should have said, "I think he's drunk. Let's move on."
I mean, obviously, people are not typically drunk on podcasts, but we run into this even with guests and stuff. Is sometimes they just want the people to talk. Guests can be a problem if they're not good, if it's not compelling, if it's not something that's. Yeah, I mean, look, Pat McAfee's a really, really interesting, crazy, great story, just on how he's transitioned.
He's terrific. He was good. And they joked about punting and the butt punt from the other day and all that stuff. That was good. They were off to a pretty good start.
And then
Yeah, and then.
So, Lane, we'll just go off the top. I guess which one? There's two directions here. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll get to all of it. I'm opinionated today.
Are you?
Yeah.
Let's go with the attendance. So to set this up.
Okay, I have a question first.
Sure.
And this might help you set it up.
Okay.
Why is this a constant media topic?
Well, that was I thought it was the very first question I asked yesterday, after Lane's opening statement. And I don't have the exact question in front of me, but essentially, why is attendance so important for the big game this weekend was the gist. I don't have it verbatim, but that was the conversation starter that it was. And I don't know, because frankly, I think Lane would have gotten there anyway. I think he would have found a way to work it in somewhere without that question, because he has been doing it. So I don't think that's speaking out of turn to say that would be a possibility. And then Lane went as hard as he has gone yet on this attendance, and it has been a constant weekly thing, and it has become a little more pointed every single time. This week, to the point of saying he has to actually discuss it with his players. The quote, "We utilize these situations to teach our players. We talk to them again, which we have before, regardless of what you come out to before the game or halftime. When you come out and run out of the tunnel and it looks like a high school game playing in a college stadium, you can't let that affect you. There's psychology to that. There's a home field advantage for a reason. When it goes the other way, you kind of have that feeling like, oh, are we still playing a game here? The players have to fight that. We can use that as a learning lesson for our guys. If that's the case, that's the case. I'm worried about what I can control. I've tried social media in here for 2 years. We'll worry about what we can control, and that's getting our players ready to play." A couple things. One, I think Lane lost sight of things a little bit yesterday because, look, I'm not saying it's changing their whole plan, but why would you put that quote down on paper? Why would you give every other coach in the country a quote from you saying that it looks like a high school game inside your stadium? That's like a baseball coach going, "Oh my God, it will not stop snowing out here." You don't do like it makes no logical sense. And for somebody who's really good typically with words and messages and making sure to say the right thing, because even yesterday, like he talks about Jackson Dart and he points out, "Hey, I'm not criticizing SC. I'm just saying that he's getting better. He's getting better. He's doing it all." He's very careful about a lot of those things, and then he lets that slip. And I think common thought would be because it's actually bothering him to the point that he got at least somewhat, not crazy, but a little emotional with the answer, and then you say something you don't necessarily think you should say when you go back and read it later. And I've changed my tune a little because for a while, and maybe it's still the case to some extent, I thought he was trying to motivate people. I thought that
I think he thinks he's been motivating people. I think he thinks that's what he's doing.
He's actually pissing people off now.
Is that right?
My guess. I mean, I don't know that. I'm just guessing that at some point, let's put it this way, he's winning enough that maybe he's not 7-5 doing this and everybody's mad at you. Let's put it that way. He has enough capital to maybe that's too strong that he's pissing people off.
Sure.
But I do feel like there is some pushback going, "Hey, look around the country. We're no different than any damn body else."
So here's the thing. How do I say this? When multimillionaires are telling people who aren't multimillionaires what to do and how to spend their discretionary income, it falls on deaf ears. Is that fair? I mean, I think that's fair.
Sure.
When a multimillionaire tells people who aren't multimillionaires how to spend their discretionary income, it falls on deaf ears. It was September the 24th. It was really hot. These aren't excuses. These are facts. It was Tulsa. It was the third game in 4 weeks, the third of 4 games in 5 weeks. The schedule has not been formulated for packed houses.
No.
It's a 3 p.m. game on a really hot day in what is essentially still the summer in the South. This is the first week that has felt like fall.
Okay, yeah.
There were a lot of other things going on. soccer tournaments, softball tournaments, baseball tournaments, golf tournaments. These are just things I've heard about from people who've communicated to me. It's unrealistic to expect a sellout crowd for Tulsa. It's never happened. It's not going to start happening. And with today's television, college football has become a TV product. If it wasn't before 2020, it became one in 2020. Here's the part where it's short-sighted. Saturday is going to be jam-packed.
Yeah.
It's going to be electric in that stadium at 11 a.m. It just is. I know that. You know that. He knows that. Asking the students to sit in the heat for another 2 hours is unrealistic. You want the students to sit for the whole game? Put them someplace where they're not staring into the damn sun. And that's reality. That was a short-sighted move to put the students in the single worst spot in the stadium. And they did. They put them in the absolute worst spot in the stadium. It was really hot. When I got to the stadium, I looked down there, and every one of them were fanning themselves. Boys, girls, everyone. It was hot. We live in a society where comfort is valued. Not saying it should be, not saying it shouldn't be, saying it is. There are more comfortable places to go at that point, including the big plot of land that has a canopy of trees, and including a number of places on the square that serve drinks in air-conditioned buildings with the game on. It's reality. Saturday, it's going to be 70-something degrees. It's going to be an SEC team that comes in with a 7 by its name. Whether Kentucky's the 7th best team in the country or not remains to be seen, but they are on Saturday going into the day, and it will be packed. It will be full. It will be loud. It will be electric. All of those things. I've said this before. I think a lot like he does about a lot of things. Sometimes when he's talking, I sort of think, God, that sounds like me. But I think he's wrong on this. In the same way that I think Nick Saban's wrong at Alabama when he calls out the students there. I think he's wrong.
Yeah, he's done that a lot. The students moved in the middle of the extra club level being added. That was one of Ross's parting gifts, was the students going over there. You've got to put visitors in certain places. You're not going to put students in the best seats, but you also can't complain we're in the worst seats. Like those are two different things.
I think it's disingenuous to criticize people for not wanting to sit in 95-degree heat on aluminum bleachers that are staring straight into the sun with absolutely no break from it. I don't think.
We tried some time, kidding.
I don't think that's a. I just think that I guess I'm defending the kids. I don't think that's a valid criticism.
It made more sense when they were in the south end zone, and the visitors were in the north end zone.
It was better for the venue, of course.
Well, that's a good point. You can't put visitors next to students. There's a rule against that. The stadium has been poorly arranged for a while. Fixing it is complicated, but they need to fix it somehow. I don't really know how to do it, but frankly, they needed almost the construction to happen, which isn't going to happen now for a long time. That, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because then you get into, okay, what am I doing with the people who want that seat and have been there for 35 years and they pay this huge amount of money to sit in that seat, and then you're doing all this kind of thing.
I get it.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure there's someone in the athletic department going, it's a lot more complicated than you think, and my answer is I'm sure it is. It's not my job to fix it. And frankly, I don't think there's anything to fix. But when it's set up like that, and it's a hot day in September, and you're playing Central Arkansas, people aren't going to be there. When you're playing, Tulsa doesn't move the needle. It just doesn't.
And there's always going to be a couple of those games.
I mean, I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
I was in Fayetteville with the girls, and had Arkansas been playing Tennessee that day, we probably would have gone to the game. But they were playing Missouri State, and I had no interest. and I like football. I would have, had they been playing LSU that day, I probably would have bought tickets and said, hey, let's go to the game. It's a football game. It's right there. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Let's go. But they were playing Missouri State, and I had absolutely zero interest. Now, I'm not a fan, and so that factors in. But look, if I'm the biggest diehard Ole Miss fan in the world and I can only afford to go to one of the next 2 weekends, I'm going to Kentucky.
Sure.
And
you got Auburn 2 weeks after that.
And there are people who are in that boat.
Yeah.
And that's where the multimillionaire talking to people doesn't. I'm going to guess that Lane is probably handling inflation a little better than the guy that makes $70 a year.
Sure.
And that's not a criticism of Lane. It just, hey, because he's a super successful person, congratulations. He's a brilliant offensive mind. He's turned a program around in a very short period of time. I thought it was like one of his most interesting answers yesterday was he got asked about Jeff Collins,
and he
was talking about how it takes time or whatever. Well, it didn't take you time.
No, he didn't go there.
I mean, you're 15-3 in your last 18 games at a job that you took in December of 2019, and you basically lost a year to the pandemic.
Yeah,
you've turned it around like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you're right. There's no easy answer. It's not even about an answer. It's just about criticizing everything when it just is. I mean, there are plenty of reasons why all these things are going on. I mean, again, it's crappy opponents. It's the way of life. Not complaining.
Right.
It is because there's so many damn day games. If you played the game at 6:30, everybody might have stayed a little longer. But again, TV runs it. I'm not complaining, not giving anybody an out. Just saying it is what it is.
Someone's in the thread, I lost it, but they said games in September in the South should be played at night. And they should, except ESPN goes, yeah, but you like that check.
Yeah.
When I write you that check, you cash it.
Well, Sam makes a good point where there is a section of fans that know they're staying for a half, no matter the score, no matter the comfort or anything, they are just coming for a half.
Look,
it's free will. I mean,
of course, I'm not for the whole. I'm against the whole deal of we're gonna track you and know whether you left early, and if you left early, you lose points as a student. No. Are you listening to yourself? I mean, you're on the path of a social credit score at that point. No, you don't want to do that. People have decisions to make. You want people to stay the whole time? Well, you're going to have to come up with incentives for them to stay the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to have to make it more comfortable for them to stay the whole time. Just is what it is.
Yeah.
But look, they'll be there Saturday, and most people will be there at the end, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Game's close. It'll be mostly full. A couple of thoughts on it. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Prime Shrimp. PrimeShrimp.com. 6 different flavors delivered straight to your door, including the most recent new addition. It's the lemon cracked pepper, very versatile option, a lot like the signature seasoning. They have the shrimp bowl, the French quarter Alfredo, the garlic herb butter, or the simple shrimp you'd like to season it yourself. Great for kids with a little more discerning of a palate, as the other ones come pre-seasoned for you, and they season right there in the bag when they're in the water. So less than 10 minutes, freezer to plate. Use code MPW for $20 off your first order with Prime Shrimp. That's PrimeShrimp.com, code MPW.
The tracking thing is a Nick Saban thing at Alabama. Saban wanted, if I'm correct, or someone at Alabama wanted to be able to somehow with their phones or something be able to track how long they stayed at the game. And if you didn't stay for a certain amount of time, or if your sorority section, fraternity section left, a certain number of you left, you didn't get those seats the next week, stuff like that. It's just silliness, in my opinion. What's not silly is the Davis and Igmanosin show presented by the College Corner. It's up at Rebel Grove at MPW Digital. College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area, Ridgeland, Flowood, also collegecornerstore.com. The Mason Brooks show is up as well. It's brought to you by The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. The Troy Brown show will be up a little bit later today. It's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. We're also brought to you by Walk-Ons. Walk-On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with a taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Visit them in Oxford and Ridgeland today. Our friends at Blue Delta are excited to be hosting Mustache the Band a couple of weeks, Friday, October the 14th, for the Square Jams after party. It's right after the Square Jams on the Square. Head over to the Lyric, and you can join the folks from Blue Delta with the world's most powerful 90s country party band. Packages are on sale now. Some tickets include jeans, some don't. All include admission to the concert and an open bar. To book, just DM Blue Delta on their socials or visit bluedeltajeans.com/afterparty. A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online auction company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items at A-Stock start at just $1. That's right, every item starts at just $1. Shop now at astock.bid. Download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock Auctions has multiple locations around Nashville that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. Want it, bid it, win it. We're talking about Lane Kiffin's press conference. If you want to read it, see it, it's all at rebelgrove.com. It's what he said, what he meant, presented by myperfectfranchise.net. If you're looking to diversify, if you're looking to leave the corporate rat race, gain control of your income and schedule, myperfectfranchise.net offers the ability to create income and wealth. Let Andy Ledecky guide you through a comprehensive franchise evaluation. He has tons of franchise and business ownership experience to lean on. If you hate your job, your boss, your pay, you feel stuck, Andy can help. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net.
So let's see. Continuing this conversation. Oh, what I had was the biggest problem that I felt like in this, and we'll move on to the other part of this in a second because we sort of covered it, is, and I go back to last season for this, is I think Lane at times has had the right tone with this where, hey, encourage people, talk about the good things. I mean, that's how you get people to come. It's not yell at them. It just doesn't work. Hey, there's this new concession items, Lane trying a damn hot dog. I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean, though? But there's some positives that you can talk about with this that maybe helps more than the other way. I don't think Lane's going to eat a hot dog, but nonetheless.
I think it's safe to say that Lane is not eating hot dogs.
You don't think they're going to put him out there to eat a hot dog? A brat, a smoked sausage?
I would actually pay to watch that because it would make him miserable. But no, I think it's safe to say, looking at how fit he is right now, that he's not putting one bad item of food in his body.
Okay. When they do well, he's still criticized. That's been my biggest takeaway from a negative standpoint. Is it was electric at A&M last year. They did a hell of a job. That light show at the beginning, the baton twirlers with the fire, the whole damn thing was really, really well done. And at the end, there was no compliment. It was, well, Texas A&M could still hear the snap. Come on, dude. Like, you can't do all this here and then in the same tone when they do a really good job, go, well, hey, here was the problem.
Yeah, it's like me if I'm a.
I do think he doesn't watch anything, and he has. He's getting done a disservice, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 10 people are telling him things.
Could be.
But if not, he's getting done a disservice because it's happening everywhere. Georgia, Kent State, Alabama, whatever. I mean, maybe it's a little worse or not a little worse, or we're getting into fractions or percentages, but it's essentially the same all over the country.
Well, there's a lot of football coaches that fall into this category, right? They're so consumed with their team. It's busy. We see there's so much more to the job than we see. You've got parents that are upset. You've got just people pulling on you in a million directions. Like Friday, for example. I know he's got a thing he's doing, and then he's got the SEC network people are going to be there. I'm sure that Feinbaum's going to want him in the Grove on Friday afternoon. He's going to get pulled all over the place. And yeah, I don't think he's seeing the other games. Or certainly not to the point where he's looking at the TV going, man, there's not a lot of people. Kentucky didn't fill it up for Northern Illinois. How about that? That's a bigger area, too. There's more people in Lexington than there are Oxford. I mean, there's more people in the greater Tuscaloosa area. From Birmingham, it's 45 minutes. Alabama's not filling it up for who'd they play the other day? Hell, they played Vanderbilt and they didn't fill it up. It's a conference game, sort of. It's an issue all over the place. I do wonder if there are people around him that go, hey, this might not be the right time. Gas prices are up. It's expensive. Food's expensive. People are going to the grocery store now, and the price of the groceries is double what it was a year ago, basically. Not double, but it's up 13, 20%.
Yeah.
It's up. Things are more expensive. The way inflation works is if price of groceries is up 15% and your salary's not, well, you've taken a pay cut. So you're asking people to spend discretionary income. And my response is then don't play Tulsa. Don't play Central Arkansas. Schedule better people. It just is what it is. But you're right. The bitching at fans doesn't work. It's as a parent. If I want to get a point across to one of my girls or Carson, screaming at them, telling them how shitty they are, doesn't work. Hey, if you would do this, here's what would happen, is a more effective thing. And then when they do it, I've got to praise. Hey, see, great job. Carson did poorly on a math test. I can yell at him, or I can say, hey, did you study? Not like I should have. Do you need help? I do. I kind of don't understand it. Got a tutor, studied, did better. He felt better. And we were like, hey, great job. That's the way you communicate now. The way it is. When I was a kid, we got yelled at. Yeah. There wasn't any of the, hey, and when you made the good grade,
what you're supposed to do. Good.
What you were supposed to do. You want a cookie? It's just changed. Is what it is.
Well, and look, he knows that from his players. I'm sure he coaches differently now than he did 15 years ago.
Does.
Mike's talked about that. You don't yell at them the same way.
Mm-mm.
You better pick your spot if you're going to do the hell and brimstone thing.
You got to pick a moment where
and really, you're almost just trying to startle them.
But it can't be every moment.
No.
They'll shut down.
Yeah. And then the other thing that was interesting, and again, Neal, there were some answers that were interesting. We get into actual news if you guys would like in a minute.
My dad brought the belt upstairs a time or two.
Did you have to pick one out, or was there one specific?
I didn't get to pick it out. I did
out.
have to go pick out my switch a couple of times.
And you better get a good one. It better not be the twig.
Well, you had to pick the one in the middle.
Yeah, you're not going to don't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, come on, don't be an idiot. I mean, it's not enjoyable.
But you got to bring enough artillery that it serves the purpose.
I mean, you got to. Well, and hey, look, after that happened, you're like, I don't want to do that again. What do I got to do to avoid that?
Yeah. And then the other thing that I found most interesting was the press conference ended. It went normal to a little long yesterday. There's no huge difference on time for the most part. Maybe a little longer.
Oh, I thought it was a little shorter.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought, and maybe not. I mean, I guess people could have gotten their questions in. I thought they were trying to almost kind of finish it a little bit there toward the end. There wasn't a big gap between it stopping and it being over. It felt almost NFL-ish on, hey, somebody's not yelling out questions, so that's it. But Lane goes, and to set this up, he comes in the Wave 3, the real tree pattern that they are wearing this weekend.
But he's worn it before.
He has.
And so I remember him walking in with it and going, oh, yeah, this is real tree stuff.
Yeah.
But he's worn that a bunch.
So it wasn't completely an anomaly.
So it wasn't like, oh, we're trying to make a statement here.
Yeah. And then when he walks out, he gets, and he just seemed to not even, I don't know if, I don't know. I mean, I don't know him well enough to read him, but He just seemed sort of bothered.
A little edgier.
He was not his normal laughing self as much yesterday. He typically will make some jokes, and he did make some jokes.
Well, he opened with a line that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
And normally you don't even listen to the opening statement because it's just like whatever. But he said sometimes when you watch the film, it's not what you thought it was.
He did say that, yeah.
This time it was exactly what I thought it was. And that bothered him.
That was a negative thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second half of that game, what they saw on film bothered them.
Yes.
Kind of across the board as a coaching staff. They didn't like it. And so this has not been kumbaya inside the building the last 48 hours.
Because he's always a little sarcastic with bad questions or what he perceives to be a dumb question or whatever. But yeah, he was just a little edgier, a little whatever. There wasn't as much lightheartedness to it.
No, he was pretty hardcore.
To the point of even being a little frustrated that the mic was slipping on the lectern when
at the very beginning.
And it wasn't a big deal. Like,
he kept looking at Kyle Campbell like, you can't fix this?
Yeah.
And Kyle's like, well, we're doing this in a locker room, basically. It sucks. So
we're all aware.
We're all here, you know. They can't hear you.
And it wasn't falling over. I mean, it was there,
Yeah.
but he wanted it to sit here, and it wouldn't stay. It was
kept sliding.
The thing was diagonal, so it was sliding down the lectern to the bottom. It did get it off to a weird start, but when he's walking out,
and me and Nick Suss are sitting in the front row laughing at it, and amused.
I really hate that the guy didn't come down and get the chips during Lane talking instead of the players. Like I needed that in the middle of that press conference. That press conference instead.
He made 2 trips yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, he made the first trip before like Matt Mott talked.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. So
and he loaded up. He got
we got multiple things.
Yeah, no, I watched.
Okay.
He got a fruit cup.
Ooh.
Yep, he got a fruit cup, a granola bar package thing like Nature's Own, whatever it was. Yeah. And then some other sort of like a snack bar. Okay. And then he came back after Matt, before Lane, and got chips.
Okay. Snack time.
I mean, it was clearly snack time.
And I guess it's stuff that's been sitting in there since halftime on Saturday. That's when they used the room. So, right?
Yeah, they use it halftime on. Well, they use it this year. They're using it as meeting rooms too. I mean, it's just
it's there all the time.
It's been disruptive. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, when he's walking out, he gets to basically the door and he kind of turns over. And again, I don't have the exact quote, but he said, "Oh yeah, and I'm really excited about the Realtree collaboration."
Oh yeah.
And then he might have even added one more sentence to it, like, glad to talk about it or something like that. I don't remember if he added that or not. But it was just another frustration as he was walking out. I mean, there's no other way to interpret that. He was bothered that he did not get that question. The odd part is that Lane is really good about just saying whatever he wants to say. He could have just said it.
Well,
it was almost kind of like, hey, I'm going to be annoyed by something I could have fixed.
Yeah, well, he could have done it in his opening statement.
Hey, it's a huge week. Got Realtree, blah, 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 blah.
In fact, that would have been a really good spot to do it.
Yeah, sure.
You
open it up for any follow-ups if somebody would like to get you to elaborate.
Public speaking 101. If you want a question asked,
just answer it.
You broach the topic before the question and answer session.
Yeah.
I have not. Alan says, has anyone asked about actual terms of the whole Realtree deal? I have not. Frankly, I haven't because I don't think I'd get the answer.
That feels like a very complicated answer.
Yeah. Would be interesting to know if Nike made them pay. It would be, actually.
Depends what it is, though. It's
well, Nike doesn't make the helmet.
Yeah, you're fine there.
Yeah.
But there's a shoe, isn't there? But it's a Nike shoe.
But it's probably a cross-branded.
Yeah. I mean, it still has the swoosh on it.
Yeah. So Nike probably doesn't care about that. And they're wearing a Nike jersey, and they're probably wearing their Nike pant. I mean, I joked yesterday about the camo pant, but
they're wearing their normal pant.
I think they're just wearing that white pant with the red Nike swoosh, so Nike's probably cool with it all. Look, no matter what you think of the helmet, and I, for the record, think it's really cool. I know there are people who don't, and that's fine. Look at the attention that it got yesterday on social media.
Oh, huge. Yeah, blew up.
You know,
everybody was talking about
it. Everybody was talking about it. I promise you, at other athletic departments around the country, this was a topic of conversation yesterday. Can absolutely guarantee it. Know of a couple.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, he should have just talked about it himself. I mean,
I didn't think to ask about it.
It's one of the negatives to us knowing for so long that it wasn't new, too.
Well, here's the other thing. Like I was going to ask about Will Levis, but somebody else asked before that, and his answer was, I really haven't watched that film yet. And at that point, I thought he doesn't really feel like being here today. There's no point asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah, because I've not heard him completely blow one that was normal off.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
Come on. He's seen Will Levis play. Lane's a quarterback guy. He's seen Will Levis play. He's got an opinion on Will Levis. Will Levis is getting first-round buzz. And when you watch Daniel Jones play, you see why.
Yeah, sure. the question on all this is why? Is it injuries? Is he frustrated by the film? Is he just actually annoyed by the things he's talking about?
No, it's a great question, and I think I know the answer.
Okay.
It's one of the benefits for me of doing that what he said, what he meant, is I actually have to go back and read what he said and then think about it. And a lot of times he just said what he meant. But I think he thinks this has a chance to be a really good team.
Okay.
I don't think he thinks it is a really good team right this moment. I think if you listen to what he says and you slow down, not you, just general, slow down and look at it and think about it, he has seen flashes throughout.
Okay.
Periods where the offense is looking like what he wants it to look like. Period where the defense looks like what he knows makes a great defense. He's an offense guy. He sees defense from an offense perspective. His dad is a defensive genius. He knows what he's looking at. And he's seen special teams that look great. And yet he's seen it disappear in all phases. And I think there's some concern. I suspect Mark Stoops shares that concern. Mark Stoops was not did you watch his press conference?
I have not yet. No.
I have. Not happy with his team Saturday.
Of course.
In fact, this year I've done this more. You probably see it in YouTube get reflected. I watched multiple coaching press conferences. It's interesting
because you can detect mood.
Huh?
You can detect mood in those.
Yeah, a lot. There are several coaches in that category who I think they think their team has a chance to be really good and they're just not there yet. And some of that is because it's a season that's still getting started. Again, like I've said this many times, we're talking about the Tulsa game because of attendance. In 8 weeks, we are not going to be talking about attendance at the Tulsa game. It's not going to be a topic. There's 8 SEC games left. We're going to be talking about those games. This is the first game Saturday. This is the first game that we'll actually talk about at the end of the year again.
Sure.
No matter whether it goes great for Ole Miss or awful for Ole Miss or somewhere in between. This is the first game that gets judged. And I think he's just a little antsy.
Yeah, maybe it's that it's simply just
not quite exactly what they want them to be. And I think he knows that Saturday has a chance to go good. I think he knows it has a chance to go really good. And I think he knows that for the first time this year, Saturday's got a chance to go bad. And now, I put him on my binoculars a lot on Saturday. His body language in the fourth quarter on Saturday was that of a bothered coach.
Not the Georgia Tech, I'm having to find ways to motivate.
No, I'm bothered. Yeah. I'm bothered right now. Yeah. And maybe that was about a number of things. I think it was the product that they had on the field looked mediocre on Saturday in the second half.
They did.
For the first time in a long time, the product that they put on the field looked mediocre for a period.
Yeah.
And I think he knows, and Mason Brooks said this on his show, they all know. You play like that against Kentucky and you're going to lose.
Yeah, sure.
You play like that at Vanderbilt and it's going to be
same thing Mark Stoops is telling his team. Hey, you do that crap against Ole Miss like Northern Illinois.
We're going to get our ass kicked. That's what Mark Stoops is saying. He goes, hey, look, we take that to Oxford, they're going to run us off the field. We're going to get embarrassed. Here's the bottom line. You play like that, when you go to Vanderbilt next week, it's going to get touch and go.
Yeah.
You play like that when Auburn comes to town and you're going to give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
You play like that in Baton Rouge, in College Station, in Fayetteville against Alabama, you're going to get killed. You're going to get smoked. He knows that. He's been in the league. This is his third year at Ole Miss. He was at Alabama for 3 years. He knows the score. Mm-hmm. He knows what a good SEC team looks like. And I think what frustrates him is that he sees this team and there's enough there that he goes, and in fact, he said the words, I think we can be really good. Not good, really good. And the truth is, they've been really good for a year and a half.
Yeah.
They're 15-3 in their last 18 games. I mean, I keep repeating this line, and I said it yesterday to Lane, and he was like, "Oh." You could see him sort of thinking like, I would have taken that.
Of course.
Well, there's only 2 programs in the league that can look down right now. Georgia and Alabama can look down and go, "Nah, we wouldn't take that." 15-3, no, we wouldn't take that, because Alabama's like, they went undefeated in 2020. They lost twice last year.
They count the final,
and they're 4-0 right now. Georgia lost, I don't know, a couple of times in 2020, maybe. I don't know. They lost once last year, and they're undefeated this year.
Yeah.
So Georgia went 13-1. They're 17-1 in their last 18. So they're 2 games better than that. 2 big games better than that. But nobody else is even close.
Yeah.
People ask, why did you write the line that got everybody all worked up? Well, I was trying to find a team in the league that was close to Ole Miss and Kentucky. And when I wrote what I wrote, the Arkansas-Texas A&M game had not been determined yet.
Right.
In fact, Arkansas was ahead. And what I was writing was Arkansas is the only team that, had they beaten A&M on Saturday,
sniff distance,
that would be able to go, well, if we had gotten to play our bowl game in 2020 and won it, we'd basically be right there with you. But even in those 2 ifs, this is how good Ole Miss and Kentucky have been. Even in those 2 ifs, if you give Arkansas, say the kids' kick goes in and they play the bowl game in 2020 against whoever they were going to play and they win, they're still a game behind Ole Miss and Kentucky. That's how good Ole Miss and Kentucky have been. This is kind of a rarefied air game.
It's the best record Ole Miss has had since Johnny Vault. That's it.
I mean,
that's it. I mean, modern era, this is the best 18-game stretch they've ever had.
And maybe this all dovetails together. Maybe this is where his frustration is. Maybe he looks at the crowd and goes, yeah, I get it. It's hot. It's expensive. But hell, y'all asked me to win, and I'm winning.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that simple.
Maybe. I mean, anyway. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. 1 trip to the pharmacy, 1 delivery, and you have everything you need when you need it with G&M. Also in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs, and they offer their med packs to individually package your medications for those who need that extra step. So with G&M, they will transfer your medications from a big box pharmacy, 1 phone call. They take care of the rest. Again, 662-236-2222.
Solutions RX is a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. It's pharmaceutical grade. It's manufactured right here inside the U.S. I've been taking some of their products just as like a vitamin booster, a prescription support, just to kind of keep me going in the busiest time of our year. Worked for me. I've really never felt better other than my voice. SolutionsRx.com, promo code OEP at checkout. You get 10% off your order. Highly recommend that you try it yourself. Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Highway 7 South in Holcomb, Mississippi, will custom build your building to your specifications, however you want your carport, ATV or storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, or other buildings. Holcomb can accommodate you. You pick the color, the style, the windows, the doors. Holcomb makes it happen. In-house financing available, free delivery and setup within 75 miles of Holcomb as well. 662-226-2233 or holcombbuildings.com. 7 South Tailgating, if you're coming in this weekend, look, I know it's going to be early, but you can still get there early, and if everything's all set up for you, you can go straight to your mimosa and get going on your day. 7 South Tailgating can make that happen. 7southtailgating.com. They've got single game, multi-game packages, and more. Just get in touch with them. You won't regret it. You'll never tailgate without them again. Highly recommend Dead Soxy. Get your sock game in order. It's not quite gift time, but it won't be long. It makes a great gift for yourself or for others. It's deadsoxy.com, the best socks you'll ever put on your feet. Promo code Rebel Grove at checkout for 25% off your order. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. Overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for the next play. GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Also brought to you by ACS, Automation and Control Systems, LLC. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. To learn more, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. And we're brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, you name it, they've got it. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. Before we go back to talking about Ole Miss and stuff, don't forget we'll have Mind on My Money on Thursday. Before then, go to mypinwealth.com. Get in touch with the Pinnacle 401k Advisory Services team. Let them conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Again, it's mypinwealth.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery. It's johnstonhillcreamery.com. Open 10 to 4. Like all their cheeses locally and in-house every single day. You can go to their Instagram page, see a ton of different videos, photos of the neat and creative things that they provide you there from this local cheese shop just off Molly Bar in Oxford. It's on White Oak Lane. That's 662-419-9201. Cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com. Tons of condiments and more to go with. Again, their charcuterie boards, their artisanal cheese trays, and more. 662-419-9201. Get any read on some of these injuries? Any ideas?
No, I've learned not to guess too much at that.
He feels to have a little bit of a different tone sometimes when he does that. I hope they play is in, I just always hope everyone plays.
Right.
And I kind of sense that, but I might be wrong. We're really really getting down in the minutia there.
Yeah, and I've heard different things. And so when I hear different things, it makes me a little nervous to guess. Like Caleb Warren's playing hurt. And
he will play.
Just a matter of management. And how long can he go?
Something they can't answer, frankly.
They don't know the answer.
You don't know till he gets out there what that feels like.
Right.
They moved Eli Acker over. They played Mason Brooks during his stead during that. I think it was 32 snaps.
Something like that. He played a good bit.
It was the Giants, but Cowboys 2-1 playoff team? It's early. Cooper Rush able to do enough?
Is Rush better than Dak?
No, but stop.
Okay.
He's 3-0 as a starter.
Yeah.
Went 21 for 31 for 215. One touchdown.
He was pretty efficient yesterday.
They're really good on defense.
And
Barkley looks good. Wrong team. But I was just thinking Barkley looked good yesterday. I had two different thoughts.
If the Giants,
I was more doing the Giants don't have enough, but I do at least see where they are better.
If the Giants had a quarterback, they'd be.
They had Cooper Rush.
Jones is just his feet. He can make plays happen with his feet, but he just can't make the throws.
Yeah. And the Eagles might be the class of the NFC.
Well, it's certainly possible. They look awfully good.
Hurts has taken a step to this point.
He has taken a step, and it helps that he has weapons, and he has really good weapons.
Sure.
I mean, AJ looks fantastic. And they look good on defense. And that division's real winnable.
I haven't seen an update, but the initial look was not good at all on Sterling Shepard, the Giants wide receiver, non-contact last night.
Yeah.
It looked like we all know what that looked like.
Yeah.
It's because, multiple media members are doing it. Where are you falling on this Dion as a Power 5 head coach next year?
Well, I'm interested in it.
He has to get better at organization.
He does. He has to surround himself with better people around him.
He's getting way caught up in stuff that does not.
I will say this. If I'm Georgia Tech and I've got nothing else to lose.
What the hell?
I'd at least talk to him.
He might turn you down.
He might.
Why would you go to Georgia Tech? It's an opportunity.
If you're Dion, I don't know how you turn down Georgia Tech to stay at Jackson State. Now, would you rather go to Arizona State?
The point, though, is can you recruit well enough at Georgia Tech to actually get competitive where you can get out of Georgia Tech?
And I don't know the answer to that.
It's not necessarily about Georgia Tech versus Jackson State. It's when I'm at Georgia Tech. Jackson State's no longer my problem. How do I win here?
He'll have to be a lot more engaged and dialed in at a Power 5 job than he is at Jackson State, where he can sort of be a drop-in parent, if you will, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure.
I mean, he's done a really good job at Jackson State.
He has.
They're 19-5 since he took over.
But the competition's pretty limited. You get to be the prettiest girl at the dance.
Oh, every time.
Every single time.
And relative to SWAC and MEAC schools, Jackson State has resources.
Yeah, you're like I said, you're going to the beauty pageant as the prettiest girl.
Yeah.
Every time. In fact, most of the other girls aren't even they're not even getting dressed up.
Yeah. I think Feldman maybe put him on a list yesterday. I don't know if Kelly had him on his list or not.
Not sure.
But it's starting to.
I mean, if you're Georgia Tech, it's a conversation I'd have. But when you go to the ACC at Georgia Tech, even if you're Dion, you're not going to be the prettiest girl at the pageant. You're going to have to really work hard. I mean, you're going to have to really, really work hard. You're going to have you're going to have to knock it out on talent. You know what I mean? I mean, you're going to have to be really dialed in because you're going up against people that have more resources than you.
Yeah.
A lot. And the problem with the Georgia Tech job is somebody there decided that, hey, it was a good idea to really beef up the schedule.
And it's hard to recruit.
In 2024, they play Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama. Why?
Oh.
I mean, who did that?
God.
I mean, that's where I would be in the back of the room as hand-raised guys. This is stupid. Number one, we ought to cancel the Georgia series. And when someone goes, blasphemy. Oh, shut up.
Tradition.
But if we're going to play Georgia, we shouldn't play anybody in Alabama not named like Alabama A&M. If we're going to play Georgia, the rest of our non-league games have to be W's, boys.
Yeah, you can't even tinker. No.
I mean, play Presbyterian.
Yeah.
Well, we already got them on the schedule. Then play them twice. Tell them we'll come there. Tell New Mexico State we'll come there. We got to have wins.
They don't have money, and I don't know how you recruit there. So, yeah. I mean, Dion's going to get bored at Jackson State.
Oh, Memphis's thing came down?
That's what I saw on the stream. Aaron Judge still has gone 6 games in a row without a home run. He's definitely pressing a little as he's getting close now. Got 9 to go. It's probably
pressing
okay.
A lot.
I get it.
Sure.
It'd be almost impossible not to be pressing.
I'm searching to see what it is. Memphis gets a $5,000 fine, 3 years of probation, and they vacate all 3 wins in which James Wiseman participated.
Ooh.
A nothing.
I mean, really.
Here's the deal. They have no power anymore. And I'm not sure they have taste for blood anymore.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure I think they know can you go after, in today's environment, can you go after a college program really? For cheating? Can you really go after a college program for paying kids in today's environment? Because I don't think you can. You get crucified.
And that goes against logic because, if anything, there's been more reason to go after them because there's a legal way to do it. You're just an idiot and you should get punished at that point.
No postseason ban, that's out. No scholarship limitations. That appears to be closing in on being out.
Because that harms the kid.
They're toothless.
Hey, don't do it again.
They're toothless. So now if you're not cheating, it's because you don't have the resources to cheat. Bottom line. Total game changer.
Because now you can cheat both ways. And one's not even cheating, and then you can cheat that way.
I mean, it's technically cheating, but no one's going to do anything about it. It's literally how much And frankly, this is where the whole attendance thing, people say, well, attendance, they're going to send that to recruits. Well, here's how you overcome that. Here's your NIL deal.
Suddenly Wes worried about the number of people.
Oh, really?
Section
Okay,
S.
cool. Oh, and by the way, this is what it looked like when we played a conference game.
Yeah.
This was the crowd for the Alabama game.
Here's what Bama looked like early fourth quarter.
Because if Ole Miss is like 8-1 when Bama comes to town, it'll be a zoo.
I mean, Auburn's going to be a zoo.
Of course.
It's Auburn.
Yeah, if Ole Miss is 6-0 when Auburn comes to town, it'll be crazy. I'll show them those pictures too. And hey, the 11 o'clock thing, did you see how I got the 11 o'clock ESPN game next week, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. They're putting it in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Who are they playing?
Tennessee.
That's right, yeah.
That's an attractive game. It's a damned attractive game. I don't think – because who does LSU play this week? Auburn. I think LSU's going to beat Auburn. LSU might creep into the top 25 this week. So you get Tennessee at LSU right out of game day.
Ole Miss did not move in any bowl projections through ESPN on Sunday. I mean, I don't know why they would, but just pointing it out, they are still Texas or Liberty, depending on your person of interest in those projections.
Ole Miss versus Liberty?
Ole Miss in the Liberty.
Oh.
Sorry.
Liberty would be – that's 5 losses.
Potentially. I mean,
yeah, I just don't see that.
It's in that glob of games where somebody has to go there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other one has them in Houston. I mean, that's not an upper tier game either.
Same
it's
game.
Same tier. Arkansas, TCU, Iowa State, Ole Miss, the 2 Texas Bowl projections.
Okay.
Texas, South Carolina, and Kansas, Ole Miss, the Liberty Bowl projections.
Where they got A&M? All these guys are so much higher on A&M than I am.
It's formulaic stuff. They have A&M in Vegas playing.
Oh, so they've got A&M in the same category.
Oregon State.
Okay.
And they have them in that damn Outback Bowl playing Wake Forest.
Okay.
ReliaQuest. I'm still struggling with. Every time I see it, I don't know what it is. It takes a minute to ever get there. I don't know. Are you done with Outback? Can you avoid it?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it will.
You remembered ReliaQuest though?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I said, hey, what is the bowl in Tampa?
I mean, now it's the old Outback Bowl.
The old Outback Bowl.
In the same way that when it was the Capital One Bowl, you called it the old Citrus Bowl.
You still called it the Citrus Bowl?
Because it was the Citrus Bowl.
Well, the Peach Bowl is the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Or whatever it is.
And you still call it the Peach Bowl, to the point that they brought the Peach back, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Because everybody kept calling it the Peach Bowl.
So at some point, everybody shut up and it's the Peach Bowl.
Yeah. No one's going to call it, hey, we're going to the ReliaQuest Bowl. No, we're going to the Outback Bowl. There's no blooming onions this year.
Which is a credit to Outback.
Of course.
That they
Of course.
were
Wonder why they stopped. Got too expensive?
Yeah, stop paying for it. I don't know what those prices are or not. I mean...
Max, the problem with a post-game show with both of us is we wouldn't be able to start for about 3 hours. I go do media as soon as the game's over, and then I've got to write, and that takes a couple hours. And so we wouldn't be starting for another 3 hours.
And you guys lose interest at about 2.
And by the end of that, the last thing I want to do is launch into a 2-hour post-game show. So, no, we're going to keep doing it the way we're doing it. The numbers indicate that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, it seems okay. Let's see. A couple NFL thoughts. The Rams won again. They're 2-1, but it's kind of ugly.
They look good, though, this time.
Against the Cardinals?
They look pretty good. I watched a good bit of that.
Defensively, they were good.
Yeah, they looked more like the Rams.
You thought so?
Yeah. And that was without getting coupled.
And that division's right there.
Yeah, it's theirs. Arizona's schizophrenic.
Arizona's not going to hold with them for 17 weeks.
No.
Seattle and San Francisco have major problems.
No, they're going to win the division. Yeah. The NFC South is looking like Tampa, although Tampa just doesn't look like
they're fine.
They're not the dominant team that I think people want them to be.
But the division sucks.
Brady has lost a step.
Yes. But the Saints are a train wreck. Carolina's not good, and Atlanta's awful.
Right.
So, there you are.
What's weird is of those three teams, Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta right now is the only one that's remotely watchable.
It's one of the few things that I thought, and because there's several, I thought that Dennis Allen did so poorly, Saints' new head coach, is he did this whole, no, it's on the team, not Winston, and I'm sticking with my guy. Winston hasn't earned that right.
No.
Like a veteran would maybe, or at least somebody who's been your quarterback. Sorry, he's a veteran. And then two, he is a veteran. He can take it. Put it on him. It is his fault. They are awful at quarterback. They are good defensively, and
I
they
would
are
at
losing
least
games.
give Dalton an opportunity because why not? And then I think it's time for the Saints to just face the reality, which is, you know what? The bill came home.
But you're still pretty good on defense, and it's like
you are, but you're not dominant enough to overcome what you are.
No, you would
on
need a
offense.
dude. You'd have to, and there's no dude out there to get. There's no dude.
Yeah, there's not a.
Everybody's looking for a dude.
Yeah, there's no quarterback factory. You know, I mean, you got to go get a guy, and then you got to develop him, and you got to wait a minute, like you see with Hurts, you see it with.
Because I don't think they have the room. I get we all jokes that like, yeah, you can always push it down the road. But I don't think they're at the point of doing like what they don't have the capital to do what the Rams did to go get Stafford. Like they don't have that type of flexibility to go.
And not still be dominant on defense.
Right. You'd have to give up, and it would get.
It's kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
The North is Green Bay. They're the best team.
Minnesota's good.
Detroit's better.
Detroit's better. The Bears.
And the Bears are just the Bears. The Bears appear to be more.
Competent.
Yeah, competent was a word I was thinking about. That's probably the best word. They're a more competent version of mediocre than they were a year ago.
They are.
Detroit is clearly a better team.
Mm-hmm. No,
he's done a good job.
Yes.
And then in the East, it's Philly.
Yeah.
And then the AFC, the North is pretty interesting because it's going to come down to if Cincinnati can overcome. Cincinnati gets a big game Thursday. They get a tired Miami team.
Miami on Thursday.
They need to beat the Dolphins. And if they do, they've kind of recovered because they're 2-2. The Ravens are good, but they're not great. Pittsburgh's, Cleveland, whatever. AFC South is interesting because nobody's any good.
No. It's right there.
It might be Jacksonville's division to win.
Probably got a pretty fun race if Miami is real between Buffalo and at least to some extent Miami.
I'll tell you this, Trevor Lawrence, who last year looked like a rookie, this year looks like an NFL quarterback.
He does. The Chargers are in trouble.
They are.
Herbert's hurt.
They're beat up. Bosa went out the other day.
And they caught a huge break because the Raiders have just thrown up all over themselves to the point of being out of the race almost already.
Yeah. Denver's not good.
No. Their coach is bad.
Well, he's a rookie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not crucifying for life, but right now he's bad.
And Russell Wilson looks like the major league pitcher that used to throw 99, and now he throws 93, and he didn't develop his off-speed stuff, and people are hitting him now.
Yeah. No, he's very average.
Kansas City looks very good, although I watched a lot of Kansas City and the Colts the other day in Indianapolis, and that was pretty interesting. That was a really big win for the Colts. Matt Ryan, that was a big drive.
Vegas went weird and gave 2 trap lines and hit them both for huge money. They had Buffalo only 5.5 over the Dolphins, and Kansas City only like 5 over the Colts. And the Colts and Dolphins won outright.
Yeah. It's a great league.
Building's not built on credit, babe.
You know, when Sunday ends, damn near every week, you go, wow.
That was fun.
What a ride.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know what all providers did it, but like Red Zone did the whole like free preview thing on Sunday going, yeah, just flick it on. See if you can get rid of that next Sunday.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have a day.
That guy's amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
he knows every name in the league.
Yeah. They do it like once or twice a year, and I always laugh because it's like, we're just going to give you a little appetizer. Just take Red Zone today.
Appetizer. We're going to give you a drug.
Yeah.
We're going to put it straight into your
6 hours,
vein.
flip over, because it's like flashing everywhere. Free Red Zone. It's like, all right, just click. Go ahead.
It's fantastic.
You'll pay that $129 or whatever it is the rest of the way.
I don't ever even think about not getting NFL Sunday ticket.
Yeah.
Give me all the games. I'm going to flip around. Like the other day, I had red zone, and then I turned to the Chargers, and then I turned to the Rams.
Yeah.
I had Colts on. I was flipping to the Bills. I watched Bengals till the Bengals had that game under control, and I'm like flipping around going, this is just freaking great.
Yeah.
It is the best product that there is.
Yes. Podcast brought to you by Northeast Spark. Neal's already spoken of them this morning, but to take advantage of that.
You guys haven't called yet, and I'm beginning to get a little disturbed. If you, I'll let you do. If you live in the Oxford area
or sections of Union and Pontotoc counties,
yeah, it's your only. It's number one. It's your only choice. Number two, it always works. I've had it for how long now?
About 2.5 years.
I've had it for 2.5 years. The only time I've had a problem was when the guy cut through the line. And they fixed that within 4 hours. And it's been awesome. It's fast. The upload speeds are fantastic. The download speeds are amazing. I get a lot of stuff done on this computer thanks to Northeast Spark.
You do.
As opposed to Mac South.
As opposed to.
Where if I had just Mac South, we wouldn't be on the air right now.
662-238-3159. I got some phone service and stuff too, but get the internet. Again, the 1 gig, the 100 Mbps. That's nespark.com or 662-238-3159.
The 1 gig kicks ass.
It's fast.
It's really fast. We're also brought to you by Regency Travel in Memphis. If you need to get away, planning a summer vacation already, maybe your holiday trip, just get in touch with John Edwards at Regency Travel. Just give him some parameters and a budget. He's going to give you tons of options. 901-494-3387 or jedwards at regencytravel.net. If you're coming to town this weekend or 2 weeks when Auburn is in town, stop by Opa. It's the newest restaurant on the square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, and more. 306 South Lamar, just south of the square courthouse in Oxford. I have a mailbag up tomorrow. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573. 662-842-3844. We'll have picks up on Thursday morning. There's multiple games that I just don't know what I'm doing with. Don't know that it matters as bad as I am at it. Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency sponsors that piece of content. If you're looking for a job, they can help you. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, they can help you as well. It's always free for the candidate. If you're hiring, you don't pay unless you hire someone they brought to you, so you've got nothing to lose. Give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call, 662-832-5138, or check out their new and improved website at servicespecialistltd.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. It's corinthdental.com. 12 months, no interest, no down payment. Financing is available. Pinpoint Commercial Real Estate is based out of Jackson. They service the entire state in all commercial asset classes such as industrial, retail, office, medical, and land. B.B. Mitchell with Pinpoint provides a plethora of commercial real estate services. His core focus is on sourcing investment properties for his clients. For all your commercial real estate needs, give BB a call, 601-934-5008. And we're brought to you by Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. It's also great for events, parties, things of that nature. So get in touch with Bowers Cone, Susan Walt, the people out at Southern Traditions on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Also, we've been speaking of the Realtree camo helmet, the Wave 3 design. They have one of those up for auction right now through our friends at Second Chance Mississippi. You can bid on that. It's signed by Lane Kiffin. Just go to one.bidpal.net/2 ND Chance Mississippi, Second Chance Mississippi, there to bid on that helmet that's available through Realtree, Ole Miss, whatever you like to call it. Lane might even get you a note about the attendance on there if you ask for it. Could might personalize that bad boy if you want it. Yeah.
See, that's going to happen Saturday, though. After the game, especially if they win. What'd you think of the attendance? What'd you think of the crowd? And that's where I think it's just not in his nature to go, you know what? They showed up. They were awesome.
Now let's see if we can do it again in 2 weeks. That might be your answer is, hey, they need to, we're going to need them again.
We got to keep doing it. But it was awesome. That's what I would advise him to say. I just don't think that's his nature to say that.
You think he's more of the, hey, do you want a cookie?
I think
type of.
Yeah, I think it's that.
That's
Yeah, I didn't come home and go, I made an A on my English test.
That was the purpose.
Okay, well, make an A on the next one.
Are we taking anything from you? Are you grounded?
Yeah.
No. Okay, then.
Yeah, what would you,
Status quo.
Why aren't you studying for the next one? Have you raked the yard? I'm kidding.
There is that funny thing on social media where it's like that. Like the guy goes in the kid's room and is like, hey, clean your room. I already done it. All right, go about the yard. Did that yesterday. And he gets pissed off at him. Why are you sassing me? It's like, did everything. What's the deal? Speaking of the Bucks, they are relocating to Miami because of the hurricane as well. So they are practicing in Miami Gardens at the Dolphins facility the rest of the week prior to their game this weekend.
Do they play each other this weekend? No.
No, the Dolphins are in
That's right.
Thursday
Dolphins
night.
are in Cincy,
Yeah. So maybe they're leaving, I don't
Maybe
know.
so.
Teams are, as they should be, pretty good about managing
one
that
another.
kind of thing
Yeah.
and whatever. They had already hosted each other earlier in the preseason for a couple days and whatever. So, yeah. Ole Miss has had teams practice at their facility off and on through the years.
Was it Tulane that practiced? No, UAB. Somebody practiced there because of storms or something, weather or something, yeah.
I feel like Tulane did for sure at one point, and then somebody that was like maroon, and like red or maroon, but I don't remember who it was.
I can't remember, but somebody did, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody who maybe was like playing Memphis but came up to Ole Miss like early or something.
Yeah, it sounds right, but I can't remember who.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a SWAC team that practiced there a couple of times once?
Did they?
I don't know.
Like Alabama A&M or something?
For some reason, something like that resonates, but I might have dreamt it, which would be a hell of a weird dream.
You need to seek help.
Yeah, that's when you wake up and go, stop dreaming about this crap.
I mean, I'd rather you do the 90-year-old woman than that. Like that. Yeah. Whew. Mac Jones out a couple weeks probably at least.
Yeah.
Patriots are,
Yeah.
That's
they got issues.
It took 2 decades, but the bloom's off the rose.
Had a hell of a run.
No, yeah. If you're a Pats fan, shut up.
Had a hell of a run.
And enjoy the rebuild.
But all good things must come to an end.
Over 17 weeks, is Miami going to actually stress Buffalo?
Yeah.
Is it real?
Yeah, I think so. Tua looks really good. Got weapons. They look really good. That coach is very smart. Their play calling is brilliant. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a run. AFC East is those two teams going to be a hell of a run. Oh, our friends are back.
Oh, we got bots?
Tyler would say these are Brennan's girlfriends.
Okay. Oh, God. All right. Well,
Brennan, that was Tyler talking, not me.
You're just repeating. You're not.
Always, Brennan was nothing but good to me all those years. When the lady was floating over me, was she wearing a nightgown or a jersey? She had on like a nightgown sort of thing.
Really?
She wasn't wearing a jersey.
Like a muumuu, longer, bigger.
Yeah, she was pretty covered up.
Okay.
It wasn't anything hot. I wanted out of there.
Last thing, LSU Auburn. What is your interest in this game? Is it high?
Yeah. It's LSU and Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm interested. Yeah, I think LSU
More or less than A&M State.
Less. There's a part.
You want to see if A&M is what you think it is.
I don't think A&M's good. Okay, right. I hesitate to do this because of the whole Arkansas thing.
Yeah.
I thought Arkansas kicked A&M's ass all up and down the field and blew it.
Right. Well, no, they dominated statistically and had a chance to put it away. They made more mistakes.
They had a critical turnover, just a critical turnover. A&M scored one of its touchdowns on essentially a Hail Mary.
Sure.
They scored another touchdown defensively on the KJ fumble. And then A&M, Arkansas had just a horrific bad snap at the exact wrong time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think they win the game. And I think we're talking about A&M the way that we thought we were going to be talking about A&M. Which is, hey, you barely beat Miami, who turns out to not be particularly good. You get beat by Arkansas, and I think they're losing in Starkville.
You do.
I think I do, yeah. And then I think Alabama's going to smoke them. And then after that, I think they got problems.
The Ole Miss line, by the way, has stabilized at 6.5. It seems very, very stable at 6.5 now. Through OddsShark, at least 59% of the money on Ole Miss currently.
I think Ole Miss is winning the game. I just can't decide
That's a lot of points.
I can't decide what I think about the line. Like in my mind, it's a 4 or 5 point game.
Yeah.
And yet, if you told me that that Ole Miss won by 10 to 12, I'd buy it.
27-23, 27-24 is kind of where I stay in my head.
Yeah, I'm a little lower than that, but in my mind, I'm like 24-20.
Okay. Whatever, yeah.
But if you told me 24-17, I'd buy that.
A team gets in the 30s, I think they're winning.
I'd just be shocked.
I'd be surprised if both teams were in the 30s.
I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, if the gods came down and told you, hey, this is a 35.
I think it's a race to 28 points.
This is a 35 to 31 game. I'd be like, are you serious?
Yeah, well, that went odd, huh?
Yeah, I would think defensive touchdowns,
Big
special
plays,
teams touchdowns.
Broken assignment. Yeah, 6,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, but to your point, I don't think A&M's good. I think LSU's getting better. And these are the funny, weird games, no joke, that you think this Auburn's done, they're buried, and they find a way to win them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think.
Probably not.
Feels like they used up a lot of that capital last week.
Yeah. If they even have a bill, though, it never comes due. All right, guest on the show the rest of the week on the Raptors Music and Food Hotline. Another normal show tomorrow. We'll have Jeffrey on Thursday. And then a Thursday night with you as well. Again, leading up to Ole Miss and Kentucky Saturday from Ball Hemingway Stadium, 11 o'clock start time for that one. Post-game show after. You know the drill by now. So hope you have a great day. Enjoyed it. Thank you. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.